Okay, I just did. I just hit start. Yeah. Hello and welcome to the campus of Plainfield High School for today's junior varsity football game between your Plainfield Quakers and the visiting Decatur Central Hawks. Decatur Central just opened with a surprise onside kick, typical of the wild and wacky style they play with. However, Plainfield recovered and will take over at their own 47. So, good starting field position for the Quakers today. Okay. Did that come through? Okay, and now so the Quakers line up with one receiver at each side with an I formation there. Quarterback standing in shotgun. And now hands off and takes it over to, and he's got some room over on the left side. And after contact, spins around and falls toward the first down. He's just about a yard short. And now a yard up the middle, but I think they did pick up the first down, though. So it'll be a first down for your Quakers at the 41. So now we got a flag there before the snap. And let's see what... That's going to be offsides against the Hawks. So it'll be 1st and 5 to start off the drive for the Quakers. And now fakes the handoff, and his pass is deflected there. So that'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Quakers. 9:09. Plainfield lost the varsity game between these two schools last night at Decatur Central by a score of 63-28. The Hawks are ranked number 5 in the state in Class 5A. Plainfield 15th. Decatur Central is well known for their... And now... Number 23, Brandon Denbrook, who got a varsity touchdown last week against Greenwood in the final minutes of the Quakers' easy win over the Woodmen. He sweeps around the right side and gets a first down there. So good start for the Quakers. Decatur Central is known for their... hold that thought. And now, this time he got a handoff to Ricky Alsum, who's been one of the bright spots on the JV team this year. He gets a 4 or 5 up the middle. One receiver at each side now. No, two now, one receiver moving over to the right as well. Quarterback for the Nate Dalton is the quarterback for Plainfield. He's in shotgun. A little movement at the line, but no flag. Now Dalton turns back, possibly looking to the sideline for instructions. Takes the snap. Pass over to the left. It is complete. But he incomplete. He had both hands on it. I thought he made the grip, but he didn't. He was hit and dropped the ball. So that'll bring up 3rd and 4 for the Quakers. 7:49 to go here in the first quarter. They play 10-minute quarters here in JV ball. So now we got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Dalton in shotgun. Now he ends off to Alsum, who is hit at the line. Then he goes over to the left side and is actually brought down, I think, for a loss of 2 or 3. So that'll bring up 4th down for the Quakers. They will likely go for it. 5 years of having Hagees in the program, this is a place where Plainfield would normally go for a field goal, but certainly, with the 2 Hagee brothers being gone, both up at Ball State now, Morgan already being, as a junior, one of the top kickers in college football in the country. It's a big hole to fill. So now the Quakers line up with Alsum, the running back, and then 2 receivers on each side. Dalton, There's a blitz, and he gets rid of it in a hurry, and it is incomplete. So Decatur Central will take over on downs with 5:59 to go here in the first quarter at Plainfield. The varsity Quakers are 3-3 now with yesterday's loss to Decatur Central. The 6 Hendricks County teams went 3-3 yesterday. I'll talk more about that at halftime. So now Decatur Central opens the offense here with 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 1 running back. Now Pitt's quarterback fakes the handoff, takes it himself up for about 4 or 5 yards. Austin Mitchell is the quarterback for Decatur Central. So, last night's loss to the varsity team was painful, but keep in mind, Decatur Central has a super big-time running back in Tyrone Tracy, a 4-year starter who's going to play college ball at Iowa. And then the quarterback, Bryce Jefferson, should be a major college player as well. There's an extremely talented team. And now rush over on the right side. He's past the 40, 45, 50, 40, 35, 30. One man to beat, down to the 20. And he breaks a tackle, but he steps out of bounds around the 10. Outstanding rush there by Chai Kao So. It's probably the younger brother of Abdi So, who was the kicker a few years back for the Hawks. He was the kicker on Justin Dixon's team that set all those records 4 years ago. But unfortunately drew Cathedral in the first round of the playoffs and lost. I'll tell you, that's the thing about Indiana high school football. You have outstanding teams that lose in the first round just because they had, a bad draw, and then you have mediocre and even bad teams who win, 1 or 2 tournament games just because they got a great draw. So now a handoff, I believe that was So again, and he gets up for about 4 or 5. .542 to go. So now Aiden Tankara lines up to the left, and then Sebastian Murillo to the right. Now a handoff there to Carlos Hamilton, who gets up about 3 or 4. It's going to be, I think, inside the 5. Will be 3rd and goal for the Hawks with 5:11 to go here in the first quarter. So now once again, Tankara lines up to the left. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name. And Murillo to the right. Now fakes the handoff, and he throws into the end zone. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, that's Tankara. So Decatur Central opens the scoring with 4:44 to go here in the first quarter here at Plainfield. Picking up where the varsity team left off last night with just an amazing offensive show. The Hawks will go for 2, as they very often have in recent years. Now high snap, but Mitchell gets it and he takes it himself. He looks for room over the left side, and he dives at the end zone, but he doesn't get it. So Plainfield trails your Hawks in the early going here at Plainfield by a score of 6-0. Here on AudioSportsOnline.com, we're proud to be your source for Hawks football for many years now here in Hendricks County. It's really been a great experience. I'm in my 6th year with the AudioSportsOnline.com family, and this is my 6th season covering Hawks football. Of my 64 varsity games that I've commentated, 23 of them have been Plainfield games. It'll be 24 next Friday night when the Quakers host the Franklin Grizzly Cubs right here. Should be a win for the Cubs. Should be a win for the Quakers, but you never know for sure, which is why, of course, we play the game. So kicking off for Decatur Central will be, it looks like Quan and Love there. Now fielded at the 30, brought to the 35-40. Stays on his feet past the 45-50, 45-40, 35-30. One man to beat, 20, 15, 10. And he's knocked out of bounds inside the 10. So outstanding return by the Quakers, and they're knocking on the door of taking the lead. All they need is a touchdown in the one. Boy, that got the crowd back into it. This crowd has been pretty subdued so far, I think in part because last night's game was so exhausting. 91 points, an almost identical score to last week's varsity game. Last week, Plainfield beat Greenwood right here, 63-27. Then they lost last night at Decatur Central, just 8 miles away, 63-28. So now the Quakers line up. Got Chase Spears to the left and Nathan Dennison to the right. Dalton, the quarterback in shotgun, got some movement on the line, but no flag. Now Dalton looks, he throws into the end zone. He's got a man open. It is incomplete, though, and I'm not sure he would have gotten both feet down in bounds. No, he wouldn't have. So 2nd and goal at the 4. 4:26 to go here in the first quarter. Plainfield trailing 6-0. Decatur Central with an early touchdown and failed 2-point conversion. So now one receiver to the left, 2 to the right. We got some movement on the line, and we got a flag. You know, I never speculate in these situations because I usually see the second guy who moved. So I would not make a good referee, not without a lot of training at least. So 4:26 to go. 2 receivers to the right. And now a direct snap to Alsum. He takes it into the end zone, and he's got the touchdown. So now the Quakers are an extra point away from taking the lead here. A 4-yard touchdown rush by Ricky Alsum. Only takes 23 seconds for the Quakers to answer. So now Plainfield going for the 2. Now it's pass over to Dalton. He drops it, though. It was he handed it off to Cameron Conway, who then threw a short pass to Dalton. Remember, the quarterback is an eligible receiver, but it was no good. He dropped it. So the Quakers tie but failed to take the lead here with 4:21 to go here in the quarter. So I'll tell you, I commentated a real dandy last night down at Owen Valley in Spencer, Indiana, with Cascade jumping off to an early 21-0 lead, then taking their foot off the accelerator, making a couple of bad plays that let Owen Valley get back in it, and the Cadets managed to survive and hang on for a 21-17 win, intercepting a pass in the end zone with 2.3 seconds left. So the Cascade Cadets evened their record at 3-3, which is also Plainfield's record. Overall, you know, there have been a few downers, but overall it's been a good year for Hendricks County football so far. So now an onside kick, but it goes all the way down to the 30, brought to the 40, 45, and a little past the 50, so that was a good return there by the Hawks. That was on the return there, Carlos Hamilton. 4:16 to go here. Usually these JV games are over in right around 2 hours, but this one could go on a little longer today. So the Hawks take over the Hawks take over at the Plainfield 49 here in the first quarter. Now handoff, and he gets up, spins around, moves up for about 7 yards there. That was So again. So that'll bring out, they give him credit for 6 yards on that play, bringing up 2nd and 4 at the 43. So now once again with Towncara and Marilla, the wide receivers. Now fakes the handoff. Mitchell looks deep. He's now then he decides to take it himself, and he's brought down for a short loss. So 3rd down and about 4 for the see what kind of spot he. So they give him a credit for the loss of 2 there. So it'll be 3rd and 6 for the Hawks with 3:19 to go and counting here in the first quarter. 2 touchdowns and 2 failed 2-point conversions. All the scoring we have to report so far in this game. So now same formation. Now fakes the handoff. No, and then hands off to Dylan Helms, or excuse me, Nelms, not Helms, Nelms, Nelms, but he only gets about 2, so it'll be 4th down. They give him credit for just 1, so it'll be 4th and 3. 4th and 5, excuse me. So now once again, Towncara to the right, to the left, excuse me, 3 receivers to the right, 1 running back. Mitchell gets the high snap, looks downfield, screen pass, it's complete, and he's got the first down, and he's knocked out of bounds around the 36. There's a nice pass there to Dylan Nelms, 5'10 fullback and defensive back, 5'10", 150. So the Hawks move the chains. So now 1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right. A handoff there, and he's got a hole up the middle, and he gets another first down up to about the 23. That was Carlos Hamilton there on the gain of about 12 yards or so. And I'll tell you, when you commentate the JV games, keep in mind 5 of the 6 varsity games this year I've commentated Cascade, a Class 2A school, and I've had a great time doing it. But one thing I've noticed is that when I commentate the JV games for some of these bigger schools, Plainfield and Decatur Central both being 5A, they have a lot of kids who on the JV team who would be playing in the varsity in most schools in the state. So now that's a gain of about 5 there for the Hawks. That was Parker Harrington. That'll bring up about 2nd and 5 with 1:30 to go and counting here in the first quarter. Teams tied at 6. Now 3 receivers, two receivers to the left. Now Towncara switching to the right. Now gives a handoff. He takes it over to the left side past the 20. He gets up to about the 15, out of bounds around the 13. I think he got the first down by about a yard. That was So again. He's had a few nice plays here in the early going. The clock stops to move the chains with 1:04. They're going to mark it at the 13. So, Towncara lines up to the right. Murillo and Nelms to the right, Towncara to the left. Now, Mitchell picks the handoff. He looks into the end zone. He throws. He's got a man open. And touchdown. That was Murillo there on the reception. And they forgot to run the clock. It's still showing 1:03. So two touchdown passes in the first quarter by 2 touchdown passes in the first quarter now for Decatur Central. They lead at 12-6 with the conversion pending. They are going for the 2 again. They failed the first time. Now Harrington rolls left, throws into the end zone, and they got it this time. So 14-6 your score now.
Two-point conversion is good. Pass caught there by Aiden Rivera.
So Town Cara with a successful 2-point conversion. He had a touchdown earlier, so it's a 14-6 lead by Decatur Central. 1:03 to go here in the first quarter.
We'd like to remind everybody we do have a concession stand available for some cold drinks. Definitely needed on a day like this. We also have
Tell you, it's yesterday was the first day of autumn, but it felt like the middle of summer. The only clue that it's autumn is there are a few brown and yellow leaves there on the trees, but sure feels like the middle of summer. Even though it's week 6 of the season, I got a text from my father last night, said it might be the hottest game I've ever commentated, and it might have been last night. It was 86 right before kickoff. It was a high of 93 in Spencer yesterday. So now Love with the kickoff. And it's bobbled, picked up just before 30. But he's got a hole up the middle, and he could go all the way. One man to beat. Unfortunately, he was beaten by that man, but he got past the 50 up to about the 44. Boy. That's the, when you do onside kicks and squib kicks all the time, that is a risk you take. 14-6 now. Plainfield needs a touchdown and a 2 to tie it. 56.3 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Coming to you here on audiosportsonline.com. And now Alsum takes it over to the right, but he's going to be brought down for a big loss of about 5 yards.
number 30 for the Hawks on the tackle. That's Christian Thomas. Loss of 6 on the play. They'll bring up a second down at 16.
So now 26 seconds and counting here. 2 receivers to each side for the Quakers now. And now we've got some kind of delay here. The clock's it's down to 4 seconds left. Looks like they're just going to let it run out unless they plan to. Yeah, they get a snap right before the buzzer. Screen pass complete for a gain of about 5 or 6 or so. That was Evan Hoy, and that ends the first quarter here. So as we head to the second quarter here at Plainfield, your your Quakers trailing the Decatur Central Hawks by a score of 14-6. However, trying to drive for the tie here. They would need a touchdown and a 2. I tell you, I bet seriously though. I mean, I don't know. I will be listening later this week to the broadcast of the Plainfield Decatur Central varsity game last night. And based on the score, my guess is it went on really long, and probably a lot of these fans last night from both schools went to the game. These two schools only 8 miles apart, so they're probably just a little dazed today, as I am from my exhausting game down there in Spencer last night, about an hour southwest of here. Spencer, a great small community. I felt bad that Cascade ruined their homecoming last night, but man, it's great to see the Cadets get such a dramatic victory on the road like that. They nearly gave it away, but they came through in the end when it counted. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Now, hand off to Alsum. He's got a hole up the middle, and he dives in. He might have the first down. It's going to be within a yard either way. But yeah, truth be told, Owen Valley really should have won the game, but they committed 5 turnovers inside Cascade territory and also missed a 43-yard field goal. So you take away at least 2 of those turnovers, even 2 of those turnovers, I think Owen Valley would have won. But still, a great win for the Cadets. So now, hand off there to Alsum again. They're ready for him, but he nevertheless plows his way up for 1 or 2. Alsum showing a lot of toughness. I think he's going to be, I don't know what it is about Coach Brian Woodard, but he has this knack for finding running backs. Every year, no matter how, bleak things look, he'll come up with, he'll pull a rabbit out of his hat. My favorite example was Dylan Foster 3 years ago in that horribly injury-plagued 2014 team. Foster made his debut in Week 4 as a junior. And now screen pass. It is complete at the 30, past the 25, 20. And so that'll be another first down for the Quakers. That was Brandon Denbrook. But yeah, Alsum, after they lose Dawson Anderson this year, I think Alsum is going to, be counted on to do a lot on the varsity team, and especially the year after that, after they lose Tavian Gadia. So now, hand off to Alsum. He's breaks. He finds a hole, and he could go all the way. He's inside the 5, brought down. So, so far, each team has scored on every possession so far. The Quakers trying to keep that position going, but even if they get the touchdown, they will need a successful 2-point conversion here. Still plenty of time early in the second quarter. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And now bad snap, but he gives it to Alsum, but they're right on top of him, and he gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage. I think he's actually going to have a slight loss. So it'll be second and goal at about the 5. So now the Quakers line up. They've got Dennison to the right, 2 receivers to the left, Alsum in the backfield. Slayton in shotgun. Gives it to Alsum again. This time he gets just back to about the line of scrimmage. So Decatur Central now all of a sudden containing Alsum the last couple of plays. 8:14 to go and counting here in the second quarter at Plainfield. We're in week 6 out of 9 weeks of the Indiana high school football season. But it's usually hotter now than it is at the beginning of the season. Next week's supposed to be back to normal temperatures. Forecast for next Friday. I'll check that here in a minute, but I know it's been upper 60s, low 70s in recent days. So now we got a flag. The play's whistled dead here. It was given to Alsum, and number 72 for Decatur Central. Roy Lampkin hammered Alsum. Well, let's see what the flag is. Illegal procedure against Plainfield. So now Plainfield lines up. They've got Cameron Conway and one of the receiver lined up to the left. They have Dennison to the right. Dalton in shotgun. I'll try not to say Slayton. Dalton. Ben Slayton, of course, the great varsity quarterback for the Quakers. And now, it's a miscommunication there, and he threw it over the head of Cameron Conway, so that'll bring up 4th and goal. Let's see if the Quakers go for the touchdown or the field goal. And now I think the Quakers are going to take a timeout. Yes. So at this time, we'll take a short pause for some words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with a continuation of this game. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by Audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast has been brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KJ Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Griddle. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and our last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683, that's 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s, and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282 or online at jimmyjohns.com. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to get back to action here with your Quakers trying to decide what to do. They trail they trail the visiting Decatur Central Hawks by a score of 14-6. The Quakers have the ball 4th and goal on the 11. They generally have not attempted field goals this year, but let's see what they do here. Each team has scored a touchdown on every possession so far. The Quakers trying to keep that tradition going here. So Dennison to the right, 3 receivers to the left. Denbrook in the backfield. And now Dalton throws in the end zone, and he's got the touchdown. Yes. That was Hoy there on the reception. So now the Quakers going for a 2-point conversion to tie it. 7:18 to go here in the second quarter. Dennison to the left. And now gives it to Alsum, and he's got it. So we're tied. So, great start to this game so far. 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns for each team, and each team going 1 out of 2 on 2-point conversion attempts. So that was a heck of a job there by Dalton finding Hoy there in the end zone. Evan Hoy. We have an injured Hawks player, but he's getting up there on his own power. He appears to be okay now. He's standing up, walking off the field on his own power, probably just a little shaken. So 7:19 to go here in the second quarter, 14-14. Looks like it's going to be every bit the scoring fest that last night's game was. Especially a scoring fest for a JV game. Isaiah Eckroth to kick off for the Quakers. He squibs it. It's fielded at about the 31 and taken out of bounds there. After picking up a few yards, that was Eric James on the return. So I guess we're not going to see any deep kickoffs in this game. So the Hawks open the drive here, trying to get the lead back. They've twice taken the lead. Both times Plainfield came back to tie it on the ensuing possession. Now a handoff there, and it's he gets some room on the right side, and he gets the first down and much more, well past midfield. So it's going to be a pickup of about 20 yards or so. So the Hawks have it now at the Plainfield 42. So now Two receivers to the left. Now three receivers to the left. One running back. Pitch back there. And he dodges a tackle. Dodges another tackle. He's got some room around the 40, 35, 30. Got the first. Now he finds the hole, and he could go all the way. One man to beat. He dives. Did he get in? Yes. Yes. So that's a 42-yard touchdown rush there by Carlos Hamilton. Boy, I'll tell you, that was a highlight reel worthy material. He dodged two or three tackles there on his way to the end zone. It looked like he was going to be brought down for a short gain, and he kept on, weaving his body around and finding holes. So the Hawks scored for another 2-point conversion, it looks like. So they got one receiver to the left, two to the right. Harrington fakes it, and he dives toward the end zone himself. Did he get in? Yes. So Parker Harrington with a successful 2-point conversion, and at 22-14 in favor of Decatur Central here on AudioSportsOnline.com. So, great start for the offenses, rough start for the defenses for both teams. And we'll be back after the, I'll wait for a while to take a sponsor break here. It's 6:27 to go here in the second quarter. Always great to be here in Plainfield, my home away from home. Commentated 23 Plainfield varsity football games as well as several JV freshman games and probably a couple of dozen or so Plainfield basketball games, boys and girls. It's always a treat. It's a great community, and they have such a great staff here. And it's a program that does things the right way. It's an athletic department in general that does things the right way. So proud to be involved with them here at AudioSportsOnline.com. It is very hot. How good somebody's got a fan running. That's good. It's very hot here inside the press box, as it was last night down at Owen Valley. One thing I love about commentary, about my commentary career, not just the commentary itself, though that's a big part of it, but also just getting to go to all these beautiful communities around my home state, that some of which I'd never been to before. So I'm not sure what the delay is about here. A couple of the officials are discussing it. Finally, okay, he sets the penalty on the Quakers. 12 men on the field, so it's they move it up 5 yards. So now Love to kick off there. Squibs it. Oh, and it takes a big Decatur Central bounce down to the 5. It's picked up there, brought up to the only 7 or 8. So that was on the return there. That was his number 82, who's not on the roster. So that's part of the charm of high school football, especially at the varsity, at the JV level. You see roster changes, number changes. And I'll tell you, the worst was the other day when I was commentating Plainfield and Greenwood in the freshman game last Monday, and almost every Greenwood offensive player I simply referred to by his number, because most of their names were not on the roster. Most of the numbers were not listed on the roster. So now let's see, we got lined up out to the left for Plainfield. We've got Evan Hoy and Henry Gage. Or excuse me, Gage Henry. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And it's a tipped pass, and it's could have been intercepted. It falls to the ground incomplete. Plainfield is lucky there. Okay. Thank you very much. Somebody, the Plainfield staff just kindly informed me that number 82 is, how do you pronounce the first name? Britton. Okay, Britton. Not Brayton, but Britton Hedges, okay? Yeah, we believe, he said. So we'll see. All right. I'll just call him Hedges to be safe. So 6:09 to go now. Quakers in bad field position. They got to avoid the safety here. Oh, and I think they might have gotten it, or was it a fumble? Either way, I think a Decatur Central just scored. I just don't know if it was a touchdown or a safety. Touchdown. So it was a fumble return there in the end zone. Couldn't tell who got it, but so far for the first time, a drive in this game fails to produce a touchdown for the offensive team, although it did produce one for the defensive team. So 2 touchdowns in 23 seconds for the Hawks. So 6:04 to go here in the second quarter. And 1 receiver to each side. The Hawks going for 2. They're 2 of 3 on 2-point conversions in this game. Throws into the end zone. Looks like it's going to be, did he get it? Yes, I didn't think he was going to be able to get the reception and get both feet down, but he did.
Number 84 on the reception is Sebastian Murillo. 2-point conversion is good.
So 40-13, 30-14 now. So Plainfield in a tough position now. They not only need 2 touchdowns, but they need 2 successful 2-point conversions as well. And, you know, I remember Russell Sumner, the former Danville coach. He was known for heavy use of 2-point conversions as well. And he said his philosophy was that he wants to force the other team to have to make the extra play. And certainly Decatur Central seems to have the same philosophy. Seems to have the same philosophy here. So now back deep to receive for the Quakers. We have Mason Thompson and Britton Hedges. 6:04 to go. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a JV team, a JV game in which one team had 30 points less than 14 minutes into the game. It's relatively rare by my observation that a JV team will ever score 30 points in a game, period. And now Hedges gets a nice return there, gets it up to about the 43, the Plainfield 43. But, you know, I remember last year Plainfield in JV action beat Greenwood by a score of 50-8, but that was that infamous game in which only 18 Greenwood players and 2 Greenwood fans showed up, apparently because of traffic problems coming in. I mean, it must have been something as serious as like a semi getting turned over, seriously. So now 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to each side now. Now handoff there. He breaks the tackle. Awesome. And then he runs into a line at the 45, goes back trying to get some more yards, but he's brought down just shy of the 45. 5:40 to go here in the second quarter. Decatur Central in a explosive game, leading Plainfield 30-14. The Hawks won the varsity game last night at Decatur Central 63-28. 2 receivers to each side now. Low snap, hands off there, and he gets about 4 or 5 yards. That'll be, that was Denbrook again. So I'll bring up a very important 3rd down and about 5 for the Quakers, as they give Denbrook credit for 4 on that last play. And now Denbrook gets it again. And he's got the first. Boy, did we need that one. up to about the 46 or 47 now. You know, it was 5 years ago this week that I called these two teams against each other for the first time. That was a varsity game here. It was week 6. It was a game that was resumed either late Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon. Another crew called the game, the first few minutes of the game on Friday night, then it was lightning delayed, and then I picked up the rest of it on Saturday and been commentating the Quakers fairly regularly ever since. 23 games. Now his helmet comes off there. Denbrook's helmet comes off, but not before he picks up about 3 yards or so. The Quakers scored on their first 2 possessions. Third possession, a fumble recovered in the end zone by the Hawks for a touchdown. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fake stand up to Alsum. Screen pass complete. And he is knocked out of bounds around the 40 or so. So that was, I think he said Bowen. That number 94 is another guy who's not listed on the roster, but I think they said Bowen. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Alsum, the running back. You know, if Alsum becomes a really great varsity player, which I think he will, he'll probably be named Awesome Alsum. And I think that would be a better fit than, you know, I remember, and there Alsum gets it again. And this time he's brought down for maybe a gain of just a yard. But I remember the Hall of Fame baseball player Andre Dawson was known as Awesome Dawson, and I didn't think that really worked as well. I think Awesome Alsum sounds better. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Low snap, gets it to Alsum, and he finds some room. He gets past the 30, and he's got the first down there. So much needed first down for the Quakers. 3:21 to go. Now keep in mind they do get the ball. Plainfield does get the ball first to start the second half, so if we can get a touchdown on 2 here and hold Decatur Central scoreless the rest of the half, then we can come back and tie it on the first possession of the second half. So Alsum again, this time he only gets a couple. Then he got on second effort, he might have gotten up to about a 3-yard gain. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hand off to Alsum again. And now he cuts the hole, and he's going all the way for the touchdown. Yes. So Ricky Alsum from 25 yards, and the Quakers are back in this game. They're a 2-point conversion away from making this a 1-possession game again. So nice job there by the Quakers showing their poise. Not being intimidated when they got down by 16 points. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now it's trick play, and they got it. They got it. That was Denbrook to Dennison. So, yeah, they handed off to Dalton handed off to Denbrook, who threw successfully to Dennison. So it's a 1-possession game once again, 30-22 with 2:43 to go here in the second quarter on audiosportsonline.com. Very exciting JV games. Probably one of the most exciting JV games. Probably the most exciting JV game I've ever seen. Oh, these two teams played a great one last year that my partner Rob Kindle and I commentated out at Decatur Central. It wasn't quite this high scoring, though. It was one that went down to the wire. If I remember correctly, Decatur Central was down by 18, then made a dramatic comeback. Unfortunately for the Quakers, that was the game in which that was the game in which Brayton Vianger suffered a broken leg returning a punt. Squib kick was bobbled there. He takes it over to the 20. He's got some room on the right side of the field. 25, and he's knocked out of bounds about the 26 or 27. That was DeAndre Warren there. 2:33 to go. Now, remember the the Hawks do have all 3 timeouts. So they have plenty of time to get a score here and take that 2-possession lead back. So it's got to be a high priority by Plainfield. Stop the Hawks, something that the Quakers have not done all game. It's going to be a personal foul face mask against the Quakers. So Decatur Central is not a team you want to give 15 free yards to, that's for sure. So the Hawks will start the drive, 2:33 to go on their own 43. So now we've got Tankara lined up to the left and Murillo to the right. Hand off there. Takes it around. We got multiple flags here. He takes it past the 50, past the 45. And he's got the first down if it counts, but it might not. So let's see what that was Nelms there on the carry. It's about a 12-yard pickoff if it counts, but I don't think it does not look like it's going to. So break for the Quakers here apparently. Illegal block in the back against Decatur Central. First and 23 for the Hawks. So that's a good break for the Quakers now. So now once again, Murillo to the right, Tankara to the left. Handoff there. And they're right on top of him, and they bring him down for a slight loss. So great play by the Quakers defense. They haven't had a lot of them today. That was on the rush there. So now 2:05 to go, and all of a sudden Plainfield looks like they have a very good shot to keep the Hawks from scoring again the rest of the half. So now Nelms, Tankara, and one of the receiver line up to the right. Harrington, and now he throws deep now, and it is incomplete. So now 3rd and very long for the Hawks. So the Quakers now in good shape here with 1:44 to go. And actually, now as long as with 3rd and 24, we very well could get the ball with 2 timeouts and over a minute to go. So we still could get some points in this half. So Murillo, Nelms, and now we got a timeout here. So Decatur Central takes a timeout, 1:44 to go here in the third quarter, or in the second quarter here on audiosportsonline.com with your Quakers trailing by a score of 30 to 22. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to redraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell & Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give you the chance you want for better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433. That's 317-203-4433, or email us at info@gkfin.com. Gunnell & Kinnaman Financial Accounting, Tax, and Wealth Managers. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to resume the game here with 1:44 remaining in the second quarter. A very big third down and 24 for Decatur Central. They're trying to, and now all of a sudden we got a lot of room there. Harrington, oh my God, he ran for the first down and he's got more past the 35 up to the 31. Incredible play, a run of almost 40 yards there by the quarterback for Decatur Central, Parker Harrington. Oh my God, all the Quaker defense had to do is keep him from getting 24 yards, and they failed. Oh no. So now all of a sudden Decatur Central, with 2 timeouts left and 1:32 to go, they have an excellent chance to pad onto their lead. That could turn out to be a disastrous play that, contributes to the Quakers' loss if they do lose. So now behind snap, handoff there. And that was another run there by So, who picks up about 4. 1:11 to go. The clock keeps ticking. Boy, that was a disastrous breakdown, though, by the Quakers' defense. So it'll be second and 6 at the 27 now. So now fakes the handoff. Harrington rolls to his right. He's got plenty of time. And now he takes it himself, and he gets up for about 3 yards. His helmet comes off. It'll be about 3rd and 3. At 39 seconds to go, I think the Hawks are going to take their second timeout. They do. Clock stops 37.9 seconds to go. And we'll be back after this short break for some words from our sponsors. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental, 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. That's 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. Has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-272-9746. That's 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield, we got a wild finish coming up to the first half. Your Plainfield Quakers are trailing the visiting Decatur Central Hawks by a score of 30-22. Decatur Central has the ball 3rd and 4 on the 25 with 37.9 seconds to go in the second quarter. Decatur Central has 1 timeout left, so they still have a full range of options. Line up with Towncara to the left, 2 receivers to the right. So the running back, So gets it. He goes over to his left side. He could have the first down. It's going to be close. He's got it, and he plows his way forward for about 2 more with 2 guys on him. He gained about 2 yards, dragging 2 defenders with him. So the clock stops to move the chains. 27.9 seconds left. It's going to be marked at the 17. Hawks trying to take a 2-possession lead into the half. Plainfield does get the ball first to start the second half. A touchdown has been scored, and now Decatur Central takes their last timeout with 27.9 seconds to go in the first quarter. In the first half, excuse me. I'll tell you, I was surprised at the end of that play. I thought that the Hawks would show some urgency and do a quick huddle to try to take advantage of the few seconds that the clock was stopped to move the chains, but instead they just took the timeout. Nevertheless, still, have plenty of time to get a score here, so hopefully the Quakers defense will come through. A touchdown has been scored on every possession of this game, but unfortunately for Plainfield, on one of their possessions, it was Decatur Central who scored the touchdown. That was on a fumble recovery in the end zone. So there's no punting in this game so far. Now, fakes the handoff. Harrington looks in the end zone. He's got a man open, and it's incomplete there. Diving attempt there by So, and he pounded his fist in agony on the turf, feeling he should have had it, although, truth be told, it would have been an amazing catch had he made it, because he had to dive for it. So 2nd and 10. Not really too bad a play for the Hawks, though, because they only lose about 7 seconds. The clock stops because of the incompletion. So now Nelms, Murillo, and Towncara all lined up to the left. And then we've got all those lined up to the right and So to the left. Harrington rolls to his right, now over to his left. And now he's got some room. He's inside the 10. He's got inside the 5. He dives for the end zone. Did he break the plane? Apparently not, but the clock is stopped with 9.2 seconds to go, and they're going to say he was out of bounds at the 4. So going to have a barn burner of a finish here to this first half. So 9.2 seconds to go. So first and goal at the 4. The PA guy here encouraging on the defense, acting as a substitute for the cheerleaders who are not present in this JV game. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Harrington gets it. He's got plenty of time. He looks, then he rolls to his right, and he tries to take it himself. He does. Touchdown. 1.3 seconds to go, and the Hawks get that 2-possession lead back. On a 4-yard keeper there by Harrington. So 36-22 with the conversion pending now. One receiver to each side. Harrington. He looks, and he's sacked. So Decatur Central 3 for 5 on 2-point conversions today. So over, as long as you're making at least half of your conversions, your strategy's working. As long as you make at least half of your 2-point conversions, half of your 2s is the equivalent of 100% of your 1s. And the Hawks are doing a little better than that today. So 36-22. .58 points scored in this first half. I think that's a JV record for any game that I've commentated. Keep in mind that 4 years ago, the Decatur Central varsity team played the highest scoring game in Indiana history, losing to Perry Meridian in regulation, not in overtime, in regulation, 83-78. I originally was scheduled to commentate that game, but it got the schedule for Audio Sports Online got switched around. And my buddy J.P. Sinclair and his partner, I don't remember who, ended up with that game. I ended up doing Zionsville at Lafayette McCutcheon that night. I still had a great time, though. So I'm not complaining. Squib kick. Now it rolls down. It could go all the way back for the touchback. It's fielded at the 6. Brought up to the 10. Finds a hole. Yes, he's got some room on the right side. Yes, he could go all the way. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a sensational turn of events here in Plainfield. A 90. Oh, my God. My God. A 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown there by Brandon Denbrook. Oh, my God. So now he's still going to have a conversion. It's a 1-possession game again. Oh, my God. I thought we were going to take a 2-possession deficit into the halftime. It was not to be. So now let's see what happens with the conversion here. Nothing but 2-point conversions tempted all game now by both teams. So 2 receivers to the right. Empty backfield. Now Olsen takes the direct snap, and we got a flag here. It's going to be, what's the call here? Definitely one of the, illegal procedure on the Quakers that'll move it back 5 yards. But I'll tell you, on that kickoff return for the touchdown, it was really odd because Denbrook chased the ball quite a few yards back as it went past him on several bounces because it was a squib kick, and then he ran back and got it, all on the far left of the field. Then he ran over to the far right, had a hole, and once he got to about the Plainfield 40, he was gone. And now we got another flag here before the snap. This one's against Decatur Central. 12 men on the field, so we get those 5 yards back. That's good. Now let's see if we can get it in the end zone. So we got Dennison and Henry to the right. And now we've got another flag. So 3 consecutive flags. And this one is going to be against the Quakers again. So we lose the 5 yards again. So now, once again, same formation. And now Alstom takes the direct snap. He rolls over to his right side, looks for some room, and he's knocked out of he's brought down short of the goal line. So, finally the first half ends, but it was a dandy and should set up an exciting second half. So after 2 quarters of play here at Plainfield, it's been a wild and woolly game with your Plainfield Quakers trailing the visiting Decatur Central Hawks by a score of 36-28 here on audiosportsonline.com. We'll be back with the first half recap and a look at what happened last night with the Hendricks County teams after these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KG Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Griddle. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282. That's 837-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give you the chance that you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433 or email us at info@gkfin.com. That's info@gkfin.com. Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial. Accounting, tax, and wealth managers. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental at 101042 Bradford Road in Avon has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-272-9746. That's 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield, we've had a barn burner of a game so far between your Plainfield Quakers and the visiting Decatur Central Hawks. And, boy, I'll tell you, at first, the all the Hawks were congregated there in the end zone, and then some of them wisely moving to the shade under the scoreboard there, which is what I would be doing in a game like this. You know, I'm sweltering here in the press box, and I can imagine, you know, what it's like there for the players on the field here. But anyway, let's take a look at the scoring that's happened so far for the this game. There's a lot of it to report, so I better get on with it. And so with 4:44 to go in the first quarter, quarterback Parker Harrington threw 4 yards to Aiden Townkara, and the 2-point conversion failed. However, just 23 seconds later, Plainfield struck back following a great kickoff return, and Ricky Alsum scored a 4-yard touchdown rush. And again, Plainfield was no good on the 2-point conversion, making the score 6-6. Then on the next possession, with 1:03 remaining, Harrington threw 13 yards to Sebastian Murillo, and this time Harrington threw successfully to Townkara for a 2-point conversion, making the score 14-6. And then on Decatur Central's next possession, Nate Dalton passed 11 yards to Evan Roy for a touchdown, and Ricky Alsum was good on the 2-point conversion, making it 14-14. Then with 6:27 to go on Decatur Central's next possession, Hamilton got a 42-yard touchdown rush, and then Harrington rushed in the 2-point conversion himself, making it 22-14. Then on Plainfield's next possession, Decatur Central scored a touchdown on a fumble recovery in the end zone, and this time Harrington passed to Murillo for a successful 2-point conversion, making it 30-14. However, Plainfield on their next possession struck right back on a 25-yard touchdown rush by Alsum. Then on a trick play, Dalton handed off to Brandon Denbrook, who passed successfully to Nathan Dennison for the 2-point conversion, cutting the lead to 30-22, making it a one-possession game once again. And then finally, with 1.3 seconds to go in the half, Harrington, and it should be noted that Harrington had previously run for a first down when it was 3rd and 24 on that drive, and then he ran in from 4 yards for a touchdown with 1.3 seconds left. This time the 2-point conversion failed, making the score 36-22. But believe it or not, that wasn't all the scoring, because then on the last play of the half, Denbrook scored on a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. It was a squib kick that took a long Decatur Central bounce, and actually Denbrook chased it down on the left side of the field, then ran over to the right where there was no coverage and got the touchdown. And then the 2-point conversion failed, bringing us to our current score of 36-28. And I think that's one of the first times, I think it's the first time I've ever needed to catch my breath after a first half recap. But anyway, so we will continue here with the coverage here. And we got 8:58 to go on the halftime clock now. So let's take a look at what else happened last night here in Hendricks County. It was a wild and woolly night, of course. Even by Hendricks County standards, Plainfield unfortunately lost at Decatur Central in the varsity game 63-28. Then a big shock, Avon entering the game number 4 in the state in Class 6A, and they went up to Fishers and lost to the struggling host Tigers by a score of 15-14. So definitely a big setback, only the second loss of the season for the Orioles, the first one being in Week 2 where they lost 52-20 to Ben Davis, but then, gained a lot of momentum back after that in the polls. Then down in Spencer, about 50 miles southwest of here, at Owen Valley, Cascade jumped out to a 21-0 lead in a game that I commentated. Then took their foot off the accelerator, threw a couple of interceptions, led Owen Valley back in it. Nearly lost it, but held on for the win, 21-17. upon an interception in the end zone with 1.3 seconds to go. And so that was a big relief in the end for the Cadets, who recovered from last week's disastrous 37-0 loss out at Greencastle. Now have won 3 of their last 4. They've now won more regular season games than they did last season. So Steve Spinks slowly but steadily building a winning program up there, and hopefully that will continue. And then Brownsburg also got back on the winning track. Brownsburg also got back on the winning track last night. It's been an up and down season for the Bulldogs after they lost starting quarterback Hunter Johnson. He's playing at Clemson now. But the Bulldogs got a win at Westfield last night, 41-7. The Shamrocks won last year's Class 5A state championship and then were forced to move up to Class 6A this year. So nice win for the Bulldogs. They're second in a row after beating Fishers 41-13 last week. And they've done a nice job recovering since losing 62-27 2 weeks ago at Avon. Danville moved to 6-0 on the year, looking to the Warriors, ranked number 5 in Class 3A, look like they're serious contenders for the Class 3A state championship. They had no problem with Southmont winning by a score of 48-7. And finally, Tri-West continues their struggles under first-year head coach first-year head coach Tyler Bruce taking over for the legendary Chris Cole, who went down to rebuild the program at Franklin. And Tri-West last night dropped to 1-5 on the season, losing at home to Lebanon by a score of 28-25. Although Lebanon, should be noted, the number 17 ranked team in Class 4A, so it's not an embarrassment by any means. So next up for your Quakers varsity team, they will be back in action next Friday night at right here at Plainfield against the Franklin Grizzly Cubs, who enter the game on a roll, which is to say they won their first game of the season last night. Chris Cole having left after a highly successful stint at Tri-West, in which he led the Bruins to the 2014 Class 3A state championship, and were a consistently winning program. In fact, he concluded his tenure with Tri-West with 6 consecutive winning seasons. And after an 0-5 start, Franklin got on the winning track last night, beating Mooresville by a score of 52-14. And keep in mind, that's the same Mooresville team that Plainfield beat by a nearly identical score, 54-14, back in Week 3. So, based on, that common opponent, it might not be the cakewalk that I was expecting it to be. I still think Plainfield will win, but they, the main thing is that they just have to come to play, and I think they will after last night. Because one thing I've noticed with Coach Brian Woodard teams is, they're not the type of team that tends to, they tend to learn from their mistakes and correct them and improve. So obviously Decatur Central, most teams that Plainfield plays is not going to have the kind of most teams that Plainfield plays are not going to have that kind of high power offense. So anyway, it is going to be at the very least a very winnable game for the Quakers. Hope you all will get out for that. It's supposed to be much better weather. Right now it's 84 degrees in Plainfield, but they're calling for a high of 70 degrees and partly cloudy on Friday, so it should be a very pleasant evening for football. So bring the family, bring the neighbors, bring strangers off the streets. Let's fill these stands and support these kids. And Plainfield still, with a good chance to do something this year. They do, have the problem of being in the sectional of death with 3 ranked teams: number 1 Roncalli, number 5 Decatur Central, and number 6 Cathedral. So, It is going to be a challenge. They're going to have to bring probably their A-plus game. But, this team has the talent, and they're going to be better next year. But even this team this year has the talent that if they play on top of their game, they're probably capable of pulling off the upset over anybody. I mean, you're going to need a few lucky breaks, but, if you don't beat yourself and you take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way, upsets can happen. I remember the only time I ever commentated Cathedral, it was back in the playoffs back in 2013 in a game that was officially a Cathedral home game. It was played at Arsenal Tech, and actually that was a and anyway, Zionsville nearly won the game. A Zionsville team that's far less talented than this Plainfield's team. And, they did it just by playing smart football. They had a couple of breaks, and, they dominated time of possession, and they were in it. They were on a drive to tie or take the lead in the last minute of the game when Cathedral entered a pass that was returned for a touchdown to seal it. So, and so there's just so many variables in the game of football. People who picked on Peyton Manning because he had a lot of first-round playoff exits, they're people who really don't understand the game of football that well, who have only a very shallow understanding, because there are so many variables. I mean, so many of those games that the Colts lost in the playoffs, in the Manning era were not his fault. And, one or two plays, would have made a difference in them winning. And the same could be, the reverse is true with some of Tom Brady's playoff wins. So, I mean, he changed 3 or 4 plays in football history, and, all of a sudden, Peyton is widely considered to be the greatest quarterback of all time, and Brady's a guy, who's come up short a lot in big games. So there's just so much, so people don't understand just how many factors go, people don't understand for the most part how many factors go into determining who wins and loses a football game. And especially when you have, 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, it's, even more so than any other sport, it truly is a team win or a team loss, You can play great, and, the other guys on the team can blow it for you. So now, as we wind down the first half here, let's go back and take some more words from our sponsors here on audiosportsonline.com. Decatur Central at the half leading your Plainfield Quakers by a score of 36-28 in junior varsity football action. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KJ Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Riddle. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282. That's 837-8282. 837-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Goodell & Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give you the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433. That's 317-203-4433, or email us at info@gkfin.com. That's info@gkfin.com. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the second half with your Plainfield Quakers trying to, get back on track here. They trailed the Decatur Central Hawks 36-22. A short kickoff fielded at the 31 and brought up to about the 35. That was an awkward-looking return there by Carlos Hamilton. He tried to find some room and ended up slipping. So now the Quakers will need to get a stop sometime today. It's been an incredibly tense, fast-paced game for But, it's been an incredibly tense and fast-paced game with a lot of wild momentum swings here. Now Plainfield with 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back. Harrington had an outstanding first half. He hands off to and now he's got some room. He's got the first down after switching directions 3 or 4 times. That was so there. Gain of about 11. So it'll be 1st and 10 at Decatur Central at their own 47. Early in the third quarter here. First possession of the third quarter. So now the Hawks line up Murillo and Nelms to the left. And now handoff there to So. He's got some room. He's got some good blocking there. Gets about 5 or 6. So it'll bring up the 2nd and 3 or 4. So it'll make it 2nd and 4 there. 9:08 to go and counting. Decatur Central, the Hawks have had a hard time getting any kind of stops at all against the Quakers have had a hard time getting any stops at all against the Hawks today. They've made very few big defensive plays. Now fakes the handoff there, and Harrington keeps it himself. He has the first down and maybe a yard more inside Quaker territory, about the 40, 42 or 43. $8:46 to go counting. Towncara lined up to the left, Murillo to the right. A handoff to Nelms, who gets up for about 5 or 6. 8:28 to go in the third quarter. Decatur Central trying to get a 2-possession lead back. So now the Hawks. Now a handoff there. And he's got the first down and more over on the left side. He's got a hole inside the 20, almost up to the 15, showing a lot of toughness there. That was Carlos Hamilton. Hamilton, good size at 5'8", 175. Has the build of a fullback. I miss the era of the fullbacks. There's still quite a few in high school ball, though. Just seems like it's becoming extinct in the NFL, though. Too bad. So now Towncara and Murillo lined up to the right. Hamilton, the running back. Now a handoff to So, and he dodges a tackle. Now he's gang tackled by about 5 or 6 guys, but not till he gets inside the 10 to about the 7 or the 8. Boy, that kid is tough, though. So is. Not really that big guy, 5'10", 166, but he's a relentless runner. First and goal at the 5, 7:20 to go. Decatur Central trying to get a 2-possession lead back. They've scored every time they've had the ball. Scored a touchdown every time they've had the ball, in fact. So now Nelms and Murillo lined up to the left. Now fakes the handoff. Harrington takes it himself. He dives to the end zone. He could have it. He does. Touchdown. So Decatur Central takes that 2-possession lead back on the first possession here of the third quarter here at Plainfield. That one coming from 5 yards out. So I assume they're going to go for 2 as they have so far. And now we've got an injured Hawk, though. Oh, no. Let me see who that is. We do have an injured player there in the end zone. Cannot see who it is from my vantage point. He is moving his arms and legs, thankfully. I always look for that. And now they're helping him up. I believe that's Harrington, the quarterback. I guess he took a good hit when he scored that touchdown. So it's 42-28 now with the conversion pending. You know, I notice we have several fans here in the stands on both sides of the field with umbrellas. Usually you see umbrellas for rain, but here it's for the sun. And now handoff, and it's on the 2-point conversion is good. So it's back to a 16-point lead. A 16-point lead again. That was Hamilton.
7 minutes and 4 seconds left in the third quarter. Decatur Central Hawks 44.
44-28 your score. The Quakers need to strike back, and at some point in this game they're going to have to either get a stop on defense or, get a successful onside kick to take a possession away from the Hawks. That was what that's what the Saints did successfully to the Colts in that Super Bowl 8 years ago. And I later heard that, Sean Payton did that at the advice of Bill Parcells, who said that part of the key to beating the Colts was to take a possession away from them. Colts should have won that game, though. Yeah, speaking of the Colts, they're really at a crossroads right now. I'm curious as to which way they're going to go. I do have a feeling that Pagano's days are numbered. I've thought that for about 2 years now, actually. And I'm also starting to be really concerned that Andrew Luck is never going to be healthy on a regular basis. Squibb picked up at the 30, 35, 40, 45. So good start to the good starting field position for the Quakers. Well, last night the Plainfield varsity team scored 28 points. Now the JV team today has scored 28 points, still with plenty of time to go. 6:58 to go here in the third quarter, excuse me. So now that was Alsum there for about 3 yards. And now we've got Plainfield. I heard the national anthem. I turned around to see Plainfield Soccer's going over there on the soccer field behind me. Now a rush over there. He's got some running room. He's got the first down and more. Nice rush there by Denbrook, who had that kickoff return for a touchdown on the last play of the first half. Two receivers to each side now. Denbrook gets it again. He goes over on the left side, past the 40, 35, out to bounce about the 32, so it's going to be close to another first down. So between Denbrook and Alsum, there's a bright future for the running back position here at Plainfield. Next year, Denbrook and Davian Gadia will both be seniors. That should be a solid solid running nucleus. And, of course, Ben Slayton will be a senior next year as well. Now fakes the handoff to Denbrook, gives it to Alsum, who's got the first down and a couple more inside the 30. So 2 receivers to each side now. Alsum, the running back. And now we got a movement before the snap and flags. So it's going to be against Decatur Central. 5 yards. Offsides. So once again, 2 receivers to each side. Alsum, the running back. Dalton in shotgun. Hands off to Alsum. He goes up the middle, then goes to the right. Now back up the middle. He's got the first down and more up to about the 15. So Alsum doing very well on this drive. .541 to go here at Plainfield in the third quarter. Decatur Central on top, 44-28. Now handoff there to and that was Denbrook there. He picked up 2 or 3. Hold on just a second. And now a handoff there to Alsum, and he's got the touchdown. Ricky Alsum takes it in for 12 yards. The Quakers hanging in there, 4:58 to go here in the third quarter. 34-44 with the 44-34 your score with the conversion pending. And now Alsum gets it again, and did he get in? Yes. He broke a few tackles, but he made it in. So it's a one-possession game once again, 44-36 this time. So 44-36, your score. Decatur Central with the lead. Decatur Central has scored a touchdown every time they've had the ball. That has to change if Plainfield's going to come back to win this game. But what I was doing there during that pause, my equipment was getting very hot in the direct sunlight, so I was putting coverings over the equipment in the hope of preventing any damage. So now a short kickoff, and it's brought back to about the 43. .455 to go here in the third quarter. Decatur Central and Plainfield both with a lot of guys a lot of JV guys who would probably be varsity guys, and well over half of the schools, maybe more than 75% of the schools in the state. Town-Cara lined up to the left. Murillo to the right. Now handoff there to So. He's past the 50. He's got the first down past the 45 up to about the 43. So now one receiver to each side. Handoff there to Hamilton there. Gets it up to the 40. So now two receivers to the left, one to the right. One running back. Harrington picks the handoff, runs it himself. He's got room. He's past the 35, 30, 25, 20. He's got some room on the left side, 15, 10, 5, and he's knocked out of bounds around the 5. Parker Harrington having an outstanding game for the Hawks. First and goal at the 5 for Decatur Central. Plainfield just no answers at all in this game for Decatur Central's high-powered offense. Townkara and Murillo lined up to the right. Now a pitch back there. And he's brought down for a loss. Finally a big defensive play by the Quakers. That was Hamilton there on the... Hamilton there on the... Hamilton there on the rush. So now Nelms and Murillo lined up to the left. Townkara to the right. Harrington in shotgun. Fakes the handoff. Goes over to his left side. Doesn't see anything. Then he tries again. And he gets back to about the 5. So we'll bring up 3rd and goal for the Hawks. It'd be huge if the Quakers got a stop here. The Hawks have scored on every possession so far. 2:29 to go here and counting in the third quarter. They have an 8-point lead. So now one receiver to each side. Harrington fakes the handoff. He rolls to his right. Now he goes up the middle, and he's going to be brought down for a gain of maybe 1, so it will be 4th down. $1:45 to go and counting. Will they go for it? Or will they go for a field goal, which would amount to just 1 yard more than an extra point, just to take the 2-possession lead? I think they're going to go for it. So it'll be huge if the Quakers get it, if they get the stop here. So now we've got Townkara and Murillo lined up to the right. And nobody to the left. Hamilton, the running back. Harrington under center. Pitches back to Hamilton. He takes it around the right side. He drives. Did he break the plane? No! The Quakers stopped him. For the first time all game, Decatur Central does not score a touchdown on offense. Huge stop by the Quakers. They now have the ball with a chance to tie with a touchdown and 2. 1:06 remaining in the third quarter. They take over at the 1. That was a heck of an effort by Hamilton. He dove. He stretched out his arm to try to break the plane. Didn't quite get it. I couldn't even tell from my vantage point if he did or not, but the official decided no. So the Quakers line up. Now they got to be careful to avoid the safety or avoid the fumble for the touchdown, which happened last time they were down this deep in their own territory. Under a minute to go now in the third quarter. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. Got a rush here. He gets up about 3 or 4 yards to get out of the immediate danger zone. That's Alsum again. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And now a screen pass, and he's got some room over on the. And we got a flag here. There's this awkward sidearmed pass there. I think it was to Denbrook, but there is a penalty. Let's see who it's against. Going to be holding against the Quakers. That'll be half the distance to the goal. It's going to be declined. So it'll bring a 3rd down and 4 for Plainfield. Decatur Central hoping to make the stop here and get the ball back in great field position and make it a 2-possession lead again. So now Dalton in shotgun. He hands it off to Alsum, but he's got the 1st down and more. Breaks a few tackles and gets up to the 15. Huge play for the Quakers. Boy, did the Quakers ever need that. So they're out of the danger zone now. Now, it doesn't matter, how long it takes you. Just get down to the end zone, get that touchdown, get that 2-point conversion, tie this game. So 2 receivers to each side now. And that brings us to the end of the third quarter. So your Quakers, 10 minutes to pull this thing out. They trail the visiting Decatur Central Hawks by a score of 44-13 here on audiosportsonline.com. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental at 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. That's 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. Has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-242-9746. That's 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the fourth quarter in what has been an extraordinary game. I mean, this has probably been more exciting than about 95% of the varsity games that took place here in Indiana last night. Your your Plainfield Quakers trailing the Decatur Central Hawks by a score of 44-36. Decatur Central has scored a touchdown on every possession except their last one, in which they turned it over on downs at the 2. Now Plainfield has the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 15, trying to trying to tie the game with a touchdown and a 2 and then get the ball back and pull this thing out. Two receivers to each side now, Alsum the running back. Dalton takes the snap, looks downfield, he throws deep down the right side. He's got a man open, and it's incomplete. He was throwing it in the direction of 2 of his guys, but so nearly got the interception there. It would have been a diving interception, but still, Dalton showing some good arm strength there. Dalton is a sophomore, so he'll have a year of eligibility after Ben Slayton graduates. Now a handoff over to Denbrook. He only gains about one, taking it over on the right side, and that's going to bring up a very, very critical 3rd and 9 for the Quakers. They really need to convert this, otherwise Decatur Central can get the ball back and not only take a 2-possession lead, but also run a big chunk of time off the clock. So now handoff. And he's brought down at about the line of scrimmage. So it looks like the Quakers will unfortunately punt here, so the defense is going to have to come through again. That was awesome. He's run very well today, but they stuffed him that time for, I think, no gain, or maybe a gain of 1. 8:40 to go and counting. Nobody back deep to receive, but it takes a Decatur Central bounce, and Plainfield downs it at the 32, so Decatur Central will take over an excellent field position. 8:20 to go. I'll tell you, I'm glad that Decatur Central has changed their road uniforms, because I remember I commentated the conclusion of their varsity game against Martinsville at Martinsville 5 years ago on a Saturday afternoon, and I had a very hard time deciphering their numbers. But now they're solid black numbers. I think they were yellow or gold at the time, so it was very hard to pick out in the sunlight. So one receiver at each side, I formation. And now handoff there to So. He breaks through up to the 20. He's got the first down. 12-yard pickup there by So. 7:56 to go. The clock stops to move the chains. Marking him at the 21. So the Quakers, after putting that stop, they failed to capitalize on it. They got a first down, but then got stuffed from there, and then a very bad punt has Decatur Central knocking on the door of taking that 2-possession lead back here in the fourth quarter. So now on a trick play, hands off there to, that was Brandon Stacker, I believe his first carry of the game. He gets it inside the 15 to about the 12. 7:44 to go and counting. So now Harrington with plenty of time. Now he throws into the end zone. He's got him. Yes, touchdown. Who was that? That was Murillo there. Oh, this time from Eric James. I'm sorry, Eric James is now in at quarterback. I apologize. In there for Harrington. Coming with 7:13 to go, and the Hawks get that 50-36 with the conversion pending now. So Eric James doing a good job so far in replacing Harrington. Eric James, a sophomore, showing great promise. Takes the snap on the 2-point conversion, rolls to his right, and he runs out of space. He gets rid of it. He throws for a complete pass well short of the end zone, and there's a flag, however. With 7:13 to go, let's see what this is all about. Penalties against Decatur Central declined. So the 2-point conversion fails, and your score 50-36. $86 points, an extremely high total for a junior varsity game. And it really shows what a bright future these two programs have. Decatur, like I said last week during the Greenwood varsity game, and Monday during the freshman game as well, these two programs might be the best two programs in the state with only one sectional championship. I think that is going to change. A lot of it is, really bad draws. In fact, Plainfield, in the first 9 Brian Woodard seasons, lost in the playoffs 6 of those 9 years to either Ron Colley, 9-time state champions, or Cathedral, 11-time state championship, 11-time state champions, and Cathedral also the winningest program in state history. So Love to kick off again, a very familiar sight today. Squibbed it. Picked up at the 30, brought up to the 35. 40, got a hole in the middle. 45, he's got some room on the left side of the field. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, and out of bounds at about the 29. So great return. So the Quakers need to, they need 2 touchdowns here. Marking him at the 30 here. $7:04 to go. Plainfield needs to make up 14 points. Okay, they got it marked at the 29. This is a great return there by Plainfield. Seeing a lot of huge plays here. Usually by the time you get up to week 6, week 7, the cold weather starts, setting in and hurting attendance. So I was afraid last night that the heat was going to curb attendance. I don't know if it did or not, but certainly the weather was unpleasant there in Spencer. I guess it probably was out at Decatur Central and Southwest Indianapolis as well. So now for the Quakers, we have Dennison and Conway lined up to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Hand off to Alsum. He's got a hole up the middle. He could go a long way. 15, 10, 5. Dives. Touchdown. Boy, did they need that. So the Quakers still alive. It's a 1-possession game once again with 6:53 to go. Ricky Alsum takes it on the first play of the drive after the outstanding kickoff return. It only takes the Quakers 20 seconds to answer. Quakers going for a 2-point conversion now, so they're still in this. Even if they fail here, it's still a 1-possession game. And now they throw, and it's intercepted. And will this count? It's intercepted. He could take it all the way back. I don't know if it counts in a high school ball or not. If they can. They stopped him. No, I'm unclear whether that's because I know in college a 2-point conversion can be returned by the defensive team for 2 points. However, the Gators, I didn't catch who it was, a Plainfield player tackled the guy. When the referee didn't quickly blow the whistle, I assumed that it can be. I've never been in that situation before, so it's such a rare thing, but apparently you can do it in high school ball, I just learned. So at least we saved Decatur Central from getting the 2 points and getting that 2-possession lead back. So 50-42 your score now. 6:53 to go. Eckroth to kick off. Onside kick, but the Hawks were right on top of it. Great awareness there. That was Travis Jarrett, who did a great job, just making sure he got the ball, got on the, and just kept a knee on the ground. So Plainfield had no chance at it. Hawks take over, 1st and 10 at their own 48, 6:51 to go. Quakers need a stop here. The Hawks have scored a touchdown on every possession except one in this game, the only exception being a turnover on downs at the Plainfield 2. So now Murillo to the right, Towncara to the left. James under center, gives it to So. He gets about 5. 6:30 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Plainfield trying to hang on. They've had some awesome moments on offense, but they've had very little success containing Decatur Central on defense. My broadcast partner Rob Kendall describes Decatur Central as the Tecmo Bowl, as referring to their offensive pyrotechnics. I referred to Decatur Central as arena football on Lance Armstrong and Barry Bonds level steroids. Either one is a good assessment, I think. But so now they were right on top of Sal that time, one of the few good stops that Plainfield's made today. So it'll be third and 6 for the Hawks. And we got a timeout here. I think it's an official timeout. Well, wish we had more people here, but, I understand it's not very good weather, and probably a lot of the fans of both of these schools are exhausted this morning. I sure was, but, glad to be here, though, for this super exciting game. So once again, Towncara to the left, and Murillo to the right. Now hand off, and they've got the first down now, past the 40, 35, 30, and he gets up to about the 27. So great return there by Hamilton to keep the drive alive. And another setback for the Quakers. They've got to get the ball back without giving up any points here. I think a 2-point deficit at this stage in the game would be, I won't say insurmountable, but a very tall order to overcome. So now Murillo to the left, Towncara to the left, Murillo to the right. Fakes the handoff to Hamilton, gives it to, who was that? He gets knocked out of bounds, so it's good for the Quakers in that it keeps the clock, it stops the clock. That was Brandon Stacker. But now the time remaining is a concern for the Quakers, so anything they can do to stop the clock is good, so they'll have more time, if and when they get the ball back. So now Murillo to the Towncara to the left, Murillo to the right. Hamilton in there at running back. Eric James in there at quarterback now. He hands off there to Hamilton. He's got the first down and more inside the 10, gets some help pushing from his offensive mates, and they get him up to about the 6 or 7, I think. 5:07 to go. So now once again, Towncara to the left, Murillo to the right. Hamilton, the running back. James fakes the handoff. Then now he gives it over to Sal, who gets it up to about the 2. So 4:49 to go. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 5. 4:39 to go. The Quakers desperately need to stop. Now, last time the Hawks were down, this close. They went for it on fourth down, failed. So maybe they just don't have any kind of reliable kicker at all. But we'll see. So now the two receivers, Tonkara and Murillo, lining up to the right. And now Decatur Central takes their first time out with 4:12 to go. So, what a game. What can you say? I mean, it's just very rare that, for a varsity game, this would be fantastic. And for a JV game, it's through the roof. JV games are, often have the feel merely of scrimmages. You're just trying to get your guys of the future some game action. But this is a real barn burner, a real dandy today. So the couple hundred fans or so who showed up really have gotten, they've really been treated to something special here. And I can hardly wait to see these guys on the varsity in a year or two. And some of them, even this season. I attended a University of Indianapolis game back in 2003 against Michigan Tech in week 3, in which 29 school conference or Division II records were set. And it's one of those things, I'm really thankful that I was one of the few people who saw really probably one of the greatest football games ever played. And now pitch back there to Hamilton. He tries to find some space, goes over to his right, then plows up the middle, and he's got the touchdown with 4:06 to go, and that goes a long way towards sealing it for the Hawks. They got that 2-possession lead back. But the biggest record I remember being set in that game, Matt Cohn, the quarterback at U of I, who went on to play arena football, had 645 yards, which is the all-time Division II record, or at least it was at the time. I think he still has the record. He and I are Facebook friends. I'll have to ask him about that one. So now going for the 2-point conversion once again, trying to make it a 16-point lead. James throws into the end zone. I think it's going to be overthrown, and it's deflected away. So no good on the 2-point conversion. Still a 14-point lead, though, for the Quakers. For the Hawks, excuse me. So your Quakers, 4:06 to make up a 14-point deficit here. If we have one more score in this game, we will have had 100 points between the two teams. You don't see that very often, especially in JV ball. And remember, these are only 48-minute games, so imagine what they'd do if it was a 60-minute NFL or college game. So Decatur Central scored eight touchdowns tonight. They've attempted 8 2-point conversions, made 4 of them. So, like I said, you make half of your 2s. That's the same as making all of your 1s, and that's what the Hawks have done tonight. So at least the strategy hasn't hurt. Squibbed it. Fielded at about the 22, brought up to the 30. 35, looking for some room on the right, up to the 40. 45, nice effort getting up to about 47. So the Quakers will start in good field position if they need, because they have got some, that was Hedges there. 3:59 to go. The Quakers need 2 touchdowns and fast. Two receivers to each side now. Fakes the handoff, and now gives the handoff to Alsum, and he gets up for about 4, but they're going to need plays a lot bigger than that. They do have all 3 timeouts. But Decatur Central, I think at this point, they'll give Plainfield all the 4-yard rushes they want, because that Plainfield won't be able to get back and win the game that way. This time, handoff sweeps over to the left side of the field, and he's going to be stopped short of the first down. That was Denbrook on the carry. 3:20 to go. So the Quakers have already used 43 seconds of this drive. Gotten only 8 yards. They're going to need more than that. They have the ball at the Decatur Central 44. They need to have some urgency. Now a handoff to Alsum, but he's brought down. They're ready for him. He might have gained 1 yard, but he doesn't have the first. So the drive off to a fairly bad start for the Quakers. 2:47 to go and counting. And now the Quakers take a timeout. So bad clock management on this drive. The Quakers, 3 plays. Not only have they not gotten a first down, they have not gotten out of bounds or anything to stop the clock until finally they just took their time out after using 1 minute and 29 seconds of this drive. So now there's a look at Plainfield soccer there. Can't get much of a view, I know, but anyway, 2:30 to go now. The Quakers have it fourth and 2. They need a big play right here and now. So now Alsum, and they bring him down, and that should do it. Alsum brought down for a loss. So now Decatur Central very well might be able to run out the rest of the clock here. Great effort by the Quakers. They just did not make as many defensive plays as they needed to. But definitely, I mentioned this being a 48-minute game. No, this is a 40-minute game, which makes the amount of points scored even more sensational. So, see what Decatur Central does. I'd imagine that contrary to their nature, they're going to be pretty conservative here. Got a rush up the middle there with 2:04 to go and counting. That was Hamilton there. 14 touchdowns scored in 40 minutes. That's better than one every 3 minutes. That's incredible. So 2 receivers to the left now. Handoff, I believe it was to Hamilton again. He gets up maybe 1 or 2 yards. 1:23 to go. The clock's still running. Plainfield has 2 timeouts, but they're not using them so far. I think they've conceded this one. $1:10 to go now. One receiver to each side now, under a minute to go. Now handoff to So. He's brought down at the 50. It'll bring up 4th down. But that could be the last play of the game. So they will have to run one more play. but it could be a deal down. So Decatur Central takes a timeout, I guess, to avoid delay of game with 2.6 seconds to go. Well, Plainfield did, a lot of great things on offense, but there aren't many teams in the state that can contain the Decatur Central offense, even at the JV level. So certainly, you play your best when you go up against the best, and certainly this is a game in which the Quakers are going to be able to. And now, on the last play of the game, the Hawks kneel out the clock. So your final score here today at Plainfield, Decatur Central 56, Plainfield 42. We'll be back with our scoring recap and a look ahead to next week after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KG Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and our last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683 East Main, that's 2683 East Main next to BW3s, and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282, that's 837-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give you the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433, that's 317-203-4433, or email us at info@gkfin.com, that's info@gkfin.com. Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, accounting, tax, and wealth managers. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental, 101042 Bradford Road in Avon, has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all of your party rental needs. Call them at 317-272-9746. That's 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield for a final time today, we've just had a barn burner of a game in which, unfortunately, your Plainfield Quakers have come out at the losing end. Decatur Central has won by a score of 56-42 with 4:44 to go in the first quarter. Decatur Central opened the scoring on their first possession as Parker Harrington connected 4 yards to Aiden Towncara for a touchdown, and the two-point conversion failed, making the score 6-0. Then, with 4:21 to go in the quarter, Ricky Alsum scored a touchdown on a 4-yard rush. Plainfield also failed on the two-point conversion, making it 6-6. Then, with 1:03 to go in the quarter, this time Harrington threw for a touchdown to Sebastian Murillo, and Town-Cara received a 2-point conversion pass from Harrington, making the score 14-6 in favor of Decatur Central. However, once again, no, I'm sorry, it was no, excuse me. Yes, that's correct. And then on the next possession with 17-18 to go in the second quarter, Plainfield tied the game when Nate Dalton threw an 11-yard touchdown pass to Evan Roy, and then Ricky Alsum ran in for the 2-point conversion to tie the game at 14-14. And then with 6:27 to go in the second quarter, Carlos Hamilton rushed 42 yards for a touchdown for Decatur Central, and then Harrington rushed in for a 2-point conversion, putting Decatur Central on top 22-14. And then on the ensuing possession for Plainfield, a fumble was recovered by Decatur Central in the end zone, and then Harrington passed to Murillo for a successful 2-point conversion, giving the Hawks a 30-14 lead. But Plainfield struck back quickly with 2:43 to go in the second quarter on a 25-yard touchdown rush by Ricky Alsum, and then a 2-point conversion pass from Brandon Denbrook to Nate Dennison, cutting the lead to 30-22. And then with 1.3 seconds to go in the second quarter, Harrington took in a touchdown on a 4-yard rush, and the 2-point conversion failed, making the score 36-22. But then on the ensuing kickoff, Brandon Denbrook chased down a squib kick, picked it up at the 6, returned it 94 yards for a touchdown, and the 2-point conversion also failed, bringing us to the halftime score of 36-28. Then Decatur Central, on their first possession of the second half, scored again when Harrington passed 5 yards to Hamilton for a touchdown, and this time the 2-point conversion was good, making the score 44-28. Then Plainfield on the ensuing drive scored on a 12-yard run by Ricky Alsum, his third touchdown of the game, and then Alsum also ran in the 2-point conversion to cut the lead to 44-36. Then in the fourth quarter, with 7:13 to go, Eric Jones passed 12 yards to Murillo for a touchdown. The 2-point conversion failed, making the score 50-36. Plainfield got one more score, this time on a 29-yard touchdown rush by Ricky Alsum, his fourth touchdown of the game, and the 2-point conversion failed, making it 50-42. And finally, with 4:06 to go, Hamilton scored on a 5-yard touchdown rush. The 2-point conversion failed, bringing us to our final score of 56-42. And it should be noted that with the exception of the last, except for the last possession of the game during which the game ended, Decatur Central scored a touchdown on all but one possession. And that they turned it over on downs at the Plainfield 2. And Plainfield scored, I believe, on all but three possessions. They had the fumble that was recovered for the touchdown. Then they had the punt from their own 15, and then the last their last possession of the game. So some offensive pyrotechnics by both teams, but nobody lights it up quite like the Decatur Central Hawks. Today, Plainfield had very few answers for it, and that was the difference here. So once again, your final score here today at Plainfield, under very hot weather conditions. Your Quakers fall to Decatur Central by a score of 56-42. The varsity Quakers return to action right here at Plainfield next Friday night against the 1-5 Franklin Grizzly Cubs, and then there will be 2 games in the regular season after that. Then a week from Friday, the Quakers go on the road for the last time in the regular season, visiting Whiteland, who are usually a stellar program, having an unusually bad season. They're 1-5, and then finally, 2 weeks from Friday, Plainfield closes out the regular season on Senior Day here against the Martinsville Artesians. Who are 2-4. So Plainfield should win their last 3 regular season games to build a lot of momentum heading into the playoffs, which they're going to need because 3 of the 4 teams in their sectional are ranked in the top 10. Roncalli at number 1, Decatur Central number 5, and Cathedral at number 6. So Plainfield's going to need to build a lot of momentum and bring their A-plus game every week and really get in the habit of just being stellar on in every aspect of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. But they have a lot of young talent who's continuing to grow and improve. They're going to be better next year, but they still have the potential to do a lot of great things this year. I will be bringing you the 2 varsity home games the rest of the way, and then we'll have another commentator bringing you the road game at Whiteland. And then now, of course, that game I will be out at Cascade covering the Cadets against Edgewood. I've been going back and forth every other week between Plainfield and Cascade for the varsity coverage. So anyway, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for listening, and I cordially invite you to join me next Friday night at 6:45 p.m. right here on AudioSportsOnline.com as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Franklin Grizzly Cubs. Until we meet again, for AudioSportsOnline.com, this is Lec Zorn saying good night and go Quakers go.